Welcome to Conversations and Viewpoints.
Newsome has signed a bill banning most law enforcement agencies from wearing masks. Newsome signed the bill in Los Angeles, which has been ground zero for the pushback against ICE raids that led to protests back in June.
And that bill, SB 627, bans law enforcement from wearing masks during operations. The bill targets immigration enforcement agents who frequently wear masks to hide their faces while conducting raids. The bill does not apply to state police. Governor Newsome says the ban is necessary to protect the public.
Unmarked cars, people in masks, people quite literally disappearing, no due process, no rights in a democracy where we have rights. Immigrants have rights, and we have the right to stand up and push back.
The new law will take effect in the new year. However, it is unclear how the state will be able to enforce the ban on federal agents.
Wouldn't it be wonderful to have elected officials that actually work this hard for us, the citizens of America, as they do the illegals in this state? I have never seen politicians more intent, more demanding, and more determined to fight to protect a group of people, illegal people to be more specific, than what we are witnessing from political leaders in these so-called sanctuary cities like California, Chicago, or even New York. I mean, they seem to have a think tank that is always working to counter every law and assist these people regardless of whom or what. Could you imagine electing people that work that hard for us? My goodness, maybe we should call ourselves illegals in order to get our local and national politicians to give us that same kind of commitment to begin to work this hard on our behalf. That California officials are doing all they can to protect illegals from being detained. They are trying to protect them from being deported and sent back to their country of origin. In its latest attempt, this law that was signed by Governor Newsome on Saturday is said to be a direct response to immigration raids in Los Angeles, where federal agents cover their faces while making arrests. California has now become the first state to ban most law enforcement officers, including federal immigration agents, from covering their faces while conducting official business under this bill that was signed on Saturday. I'm emphasizing Saturday. It was signed by Newsome, and it was a news conference in Los Angeles that followed this. This bill is said to be supported by state lawmakers, education leaders, and immigration community members, underscoring that California is unique in that 27% of its residents are foreign-born. They said, according to Newsome, we celebrate that diversity. It's what makes California great. It's what makes America great. It is under assault, he said. Officers who cover their faces could be charged with a misdemeanor under this California proposal. Now, the governor said the state is pushing back against the practice of masked agents without identification or badge numbers detaining people on the streets. The impact of these policies all across this city, our state and nation are terrifying, like a dystopian sci-fi movie, he said. Unmarked cars, people in masks, people quite literally disappearing. No due process, no rights in a democracy where we have rights. Immigrants have rights, he said. And we have the right to stand up and push back, and that's why we're doing it here today. These are Newsome's words. He seems to forget the difference between legal and illegal immigrants, though I think he should specify this. And it's still unclear to some as to whether the state can, in fact, enforce the ban on federal agents. The state is not over the federal. So just as swiftly as this surprisingly Saturday legislature is introduced, the Trump administration officials responded. And they denounced this so-called law and further stated it didn't apply to ICE, and saying immigration agents face strident and increasing harassment in public and online as they carry out enforcement in service of mass deportation, and that obscuring their identities is necessary for their safety, for the safety of the agents as well as their families. This is what the officials contend. Now, the Trump administration says they don't have to comply. Now, the acting U.S. Attorney for Southern California, Bill Saley, he said on X that the state does not have jurisdiction over the federal government. And he has told agencies the mask ban has no effect on their operations. Our agents will continue to protect their identities. is what he said. He further criticized Newsom's comment on X, saying Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was going to have a bad day today, adding that there is zero tolerance for direct or implicit threats against government officials. He referred the matter to the Secret Service, which said in a statement also on X that it could not comment on the specific case, but must investigate any potential threat. Now, Homeland Security Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin, called it despicable and a flagrant attempt to endanger our officers. While our federal enforcement officers are being assaulted by rioters and having rocks and Molotov cocktails thrown at them, a sanctuary politician is trying to outlaw officers wearing masks to protect themselves from being doxxed and targeted by known and suspected terrorist sympathizers. And I would like to know why it is so very important to these officials in California that these people show their faces. They have ICE written on their clothing. It's on the cars, and they come in groups. And I understand people often pretend to be something they're not, but you know when that's an ICE agent. I think they want to use this perhaps as an opportunity to go after these people for doing the jobs they've been hired to do. You can see their numbers, and they're identified by those badges, as well as the ICE is written all over, or police, or whatever agency they represent. Is it you want to see these people's faces so you can, and the people that they are arresting or up for immigration for possible deportation, so that they can go and attack these people individually and possibly harass, possibly confront them in their homes, in their children's schools? Maybe that's what's behind this, because this just seems odd. It is clearly there when they come out to do their jobs. The men and women of federal immigration agents put their lives on the line to arrest violent, criminal, illegal aliens, and rhetoric like Newsom's has contributed to a surge in assaults. Newsome countered that concerns about doxing agents or publishing their personal information online are unfounded and unproven. This has been proven on several occasions. There were illegal TikTokers and other content creators that were actually doxing, and it was evident. Anyone could see it. But there's an assertion that somehow there's an exponential increase in assaults on officers, but they will not provide the data. I don't know what kind of data they need to provide you, but there has been proof that these people were doing it. In fact, ICE actually picked up one of the people that was accused of doxing some of those agents. Their ban applies to various face coverings. It prohibits neck gaiters, sky masks, and other facial coverings for local and federal officers, including immigration enforcement agents, while they conduct official business. It makes exceptions for undercover agents, medical masks such as N95 respirators or tactical gear, and it does not apply to state police. Now, Democrats in Congress and lawmakers in several states, including Tennessee, Michigan, Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania, have introduced similar proposals for mask bans. Not only did Newsome sign the mask ban on Saturday, but he signed legislation again preventing immigration agents from entering schools and healthcare facilities without a valid warrant or judicial order, and requiring schools to notify parents and teachers when agents are on campus. Now, an assembly member said students cannot learn if they live in fear of being deported. These children should not be in these school systems in the first place, especially if their parents or whomever brought them here know that they are here illegally. You know that you have violated the United States laws of the land. It's not the children's fault, of course, but it does not negate the fact that they are still not supposed to be in the country or in the school system in the first place. Apparently, the California Safe Haven Schools Act is meant to be a clear message to Donald Trump. This is what they said. It is to keep ICE out of our schools. Now, I personally find this to be quite problematic and a reason for concern. It appears they are working very hard to protect and even harbor illegals from coming into accord and abiding by the laws that govern this country. And those children are still using taxpayer dollars and resources whenever they attend these public schools. They're using public funds, taxpayer money, that could be better utilized to assist needy citizens and pupils with necessary resources. Sanctuary cities like these are very problematic, in my opinion, because they use funding and reserves that could be better utilized and customized to benefit actual citizen taxpayers. Imagine using those funds to upgrade the technology in the school system and to offer more elevated forms of education and resources. Sanctuary city officials have become accustomed to using illegals to prop themselves up, and they use their numbers to secure undeserved resources and secure their own political jobs, and it is unfair to the average taxpaying legal citizen in America. Earlier this year, The legislature authorized giving $50 million to California Department of Justice and other legal groups, as I've said. And mainly this is just to fight on behalf of illegal people that are in this state, which has resulted in more than 40 lawsuits against the Trump administration. That money could have been better utilized in other places. Imagine using that money to better the lives of citizens, to build better, more affordable housing, infrastructure, to pay for and develop affordable healthcare programs to actual citizens and assist needy homeless citizens to better themselves and to better their situations, instead of using taxpayer money to fight for those who broke the law in the first place when they decided to continue to stay here and not come into accord with the law of the land. I want to know what you think about this topic of discussion. Subscribe and leave me your comment. Do you think immigration officials should be required to unmask while doing their jobs? And how do you feel about taxpayer dollars and funds being used to fight the federal government on behalf of people that entered into this country illegally?
If you have not already, be sure to subscribe, like and comment. Share your opinion on this topic, conversations and viewpoints that matter to you.